All right, man. So after the gangbang, we're going out for pancakes?
Sure. That's the plan.
Yes!
You're wet. I'm gonna wet.
Is it just me? Or is it getting crazier out there?
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Late Late Horror Show.
What's up, girls?
What is going on?
Hey, ladies in the house.
Oh, my God.
Wait, I'm looking at the chat. There's no ladies.
I didn't even know what he was saying. But my name's Dino.
I wouldn't tell him what I was going to say.
He said, just say that's the plan.
Just roll with it, trust me.
Roll with it, buddy. I'm Dino. That's Ted.
Ted Rico.
And this is the Late Late Horror Show. And we are going to talk... This is a simple film, but a very complex film.
Yes.
Ted doesn't think. I don't know.
No, I didn't say I didn't think. I just...
Yeah,
when I was researching the movie, I saw it was going in all this political direction, and I just said, I ain't reading all this.
Oh, we got to dive into a little bit of that because it's a very political
There's
film.
essays online, like full abstract essays.
Oh, yeah.
And I looked at that, and I was like, I ain't having
I was... anyways.
not for this movie.
Everybody in the chat, you know who you are. It's beginning to be a lot of different people here. Henak, what's going on? Nice to see you. Connie, RTN, Sinead, Edward just came in. He says, Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, 1919, although they put it 1920. Either way, 100-year-old movie. Max, what's going on? Directed by Robert Wine, screenplay by Carl Meyer. Hans Janowitz stars Werner Krauss, Conrad Veidt, and we can't forget the lovely Lil Dagover as Jane.
Where have I seen her before?
I didn't even dive too deep into that.
Stomach,
but William Curie, are you okay?
Man,
Yeah.
What'd you have for dinner?
Oh, you're just full, hungry.
Full. What'd you have?
I still gotta eat.
You still gotta eat, man?
Yeah. I didn't have a big dinner.
I had a big dinner. I had
Vicky,
I had creepy Joes. I mean sloppy Joes.
Vicky, Tom,
No.
what is going on? Everybody, nice to see other people. Just subscribed yesterday. Love the channel.
All right.
Chris J827. Dapper Canuck, what's going on? I wrote one of those papers on the film.
Damn.
So you know, Dapper, that this film, man, it dives into... Well, first of all, it is German expressionism, okay? It
is?
It is. It is. But
what are they expressing?
The complex part is where everybody has different views on and takes on what it's all about. Of course, this is coming right after World War I. So, it's the state of the people, was of oppression, the government, the totalitarianism, I can't even speak.
It.
All of that stuff, with the people, and we're going to get into it. So there's a lot of that. And people say Dr. Caligari, he's the oppressor, where Caesar is kind of the puppet to do his willing, to kill the other leaders. It's all this maniacal shit that
maniacal laugh
during World War I and World War II. There, how messed up the world got. It
wasn't just too hot in Germany. I'll tell you that.
Well, especially in Germany, yeah. But it's just this German expressionism in this film. It's very surreal. The vivid landscape, everything about this film is just fantastic.
Well, it makes a little bit more sense by film's end, and you realize who these characters actually are and everything.
Oh, and I can't wait to... there's a couple firsts you get in here, and of course, because it's one of the earliest... it's technically the first horror film of its genre,
There were some examples of the macabre before that.
Right, but this,
I think there was even a version of Frankenstein that may... predate this. I can't remember.
I think as a whole, though...
But it was a short.
It was kind of the first, kind of...
That's what they say. I'm not 100% sure, but I did read that. I gotta think there was probably some earlier ones, but...
Yeah, so let me get out of the...
maybe the first full, feature, maybe.
Let me get out of the way here real quick. After tonight's show, there will be, at 11 o'clock, we will be streaming Spooky Horror Tales, Terrifying Tuesday. So we're going to have some horror old-time radio shows overnight, all night long.
I said what's going on after the show.
So, so we've got that to look forward to.
We got
also,
people coming over.
We have. I just want to thank again to all these people who are becoming channel members. I appreciate that so much.
Where's their names?
Let me get. Here's their names. There's the first one. I want
Nobody I know.
I want to thank everybody.
None of my friends
Here. None of your friends are on there? No?
Well, you're not on there, so none of my friends are on there.
Hey, everybody in chat's your friend. And also these new people here.
Ooh,
I
top
appreciate
level.
it. Yeah, top level.
I like
you
the
got,
top
you
level.
got some more, color there going on, but and then on top of it, the Patreon.
Oh, look at that. There's no more room to put anybody.
I'm gonna have to make a new one.
We
or
can't
make the
accept
words
any more
smaller,
Patreons.
No more Patreon. But I did want to thank everybody who is a member. You guys can do that by hitting the link below, that little join button next to the subscribe. Helps out the channel, helps us out. Super chats, Patreon, all that stuff is a way to support the channel and everything I do. We've gone since last Halloween, almost 12 hours every night for over 6 months, for half a year. I mean, so, we keep this going. I keep it going for you guys. The family keeps growing. All of you guys know who you are. I appreciate it. And me and Ted having this on Tuesday is just frosting on the cake.
Even that's the part you guys really wait for.
Oh, man, to see
Dino
our mugs.
told me. He didn't want to tell me, but he told me on those Tuesdays once in a while when I don't make it, he takes a big financial hit.
Right.
See?
Yeah, I bought you a couple pies. But anyways.
Pies?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, hey, I told everybody about that. I ain't even saying nothing. Forget it. Zip.
All right.
So yeah, I will get to you guys in the chat too if you guys got
my gum all
if you guys got things to like throw in there and talk about and stuff like that. Edward Stewart in a little town village on the Dutch border. Fairgrounds magician Caligari exhibit a somnambulist called Caesar who at night dressed in black body stocking.
My lip.
You know what? Let me. There's something that for this film, and I want to throw this out there because I thought this was just fantastic when I read this. It's that writer Hans Janowitz.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how he got the idea for this movie here.
Oh yeah.
He claims to have gotten the idea for the film when he was at a carnival one day.
Mm-hmm.
He saw a strange man lurking in the shadows.
Mm-hmm.
The next day, he heard that a girl was brutally murdered.
Let's just put two and two together
at
right
the
there.
carnival, right?
It's the only logical explanation.
He went to the funeral and he saw the man lurking around. He had no proof that the strange man was the murderer.
That's all the proof I need.
But he fleshed the whole idea out into this film, kind of.
If that happened today on social media, he'd be guilty already.
Right, yeah.
Who's this guy?
But
I was though.
I thought that was just fantastic because this movie. I mean, I love this movie. I mean, because of the visuals and everything about German expressionism or expressionism
everything. I'm just kidding.
In general, with
a lot of those guys came over and did the Universals, man.
Oh, yeah.
You had some of these same cinematographers, Freund.
Yeah, Son of Frankenstein kind of has the
Dracula, especially.
Has a lot of that gothic expression.
But it was these German guys that came and lensed those movies.
Right, yeah. So a lot of that came from Germany.
Mm-hmm.
So something came out of there, but yeah,
something came out of there.
Yeah. Well, and even in that opening scene where everything's kind of drawn,
Yeah.
It's an artwork, it's a piece of art in itself. But you see all the big fancy townhomes looking down on the people.
I mean, some of the sets are just nothing more than paper with drawings on them. Some of the, but the slanted sidewalks and the pointed windows and things like that. By the end of the film, you realize that it's just somebody's skewed perception.
Well, yeah, or it could just be the mind of a madman.
That's what I'm saying.
Telling his tale, you know what I mean?
Telling his tale. I mean,
and
otherwise, I hate to live in a town like that.
Everywhere
you go, it's uphill.
Well, and that's where the totalitarianism comes from, where they say, even all the people had to run up big flights of stairs to get to the police. There's even that scene where Dr. Caligari comes in during the beginning of the picture to the town clerk, and you see the town clerk, which this is a fantastic scene. The town clerk is kind of sitting up on this big chair, and
Bob Cratchit style.
Yes, but, towering over to smaller people and stuff. But that scene, among a few other scenes in this movie, totally 100% looks like Dr. Seuss. Something like you would see in a Dr. Seuss image.
Almost. Guy way up high.
Yeah. Lurching over,
Unreasonably high.
Unbelievable. I mean, it's just fantastic. Oh, who became a member there, just real quick?
I saw something up there.
Yeah. Vicky Alcorn. Welcome to Level 3. Thank you, Vicky. I appreciate that. Appreciate it very much.
She gets to learn the secret handshake.
The Vagrancy Short Horror Stories. Just kicked off his stuff, so go check it out. But with him up there on the it just that Dr. Seuss feel. I feel that throughout the whole movie like that. And I thought another cool thing throughout the movie that we've seen were the colors that he used for the film.
Sometimes you get some tints of color. Not every version is tinted, but the original was tinted.
Right, and you had 3 different colors. Okay, you had an orange, yellow, sepia kind of look. That was for the outside or the fire scenes. You had a bluish green, which of course was for nighttime or dark. And the other interesting thing was he used kind of a pink color for the indoor scenes, which there were only a couple that were really like that with Jane.
It almost looks like it's going into full color for a second.
Yeah, but fantastic. I mean, and they
But that is something that a lot of silent films did at the time.
Right, to show.
But it just depends on what print you watch. But the original print did have the tinting, so if you can watch it, that's the way to watch it.
And the way they did that was they pretty much just dyed the film. Mm-hmm. So, a simple thing, you know what I mean? But
it was a new art form. They hadn't much way else to do it,
Yeah.
Sometimes they had to go in and hand draw on each frame.
And getting to the very start of this movie too. You have when the movie kicks off, you're pretty much sitting there in kind of a courtyard, looking thing where Francis is talking to some man who just no name, just a man he could tell a story to.
And says that the spirits has caused him to have to be apart from his family. Yeah. The spirits are chasing him or whatever. And then we see the ethereal Jane just sort of appear and walk by.
Yeah.
And he just throws out there, that's my fiance.
That is his fiance.
And the thing that happened to us was amazing.
And this was the very first time nonlinear narrative, which is basically an out of chronological order.
The film has a bridging story, I think.
I think the other time you get 22 Laters, you get in Citizen Kane, where they're jumping back and forth in the storyline. Pulp Fiction.
Not Citizen Kane or Pulp. I was just about to say Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction,
but
jumping
we got
back and forth.
A bookend story.
Yep.
Which I guess, from what I understand, the writers weren't too particularly happy about. But
because
I think it
different.
makes a better.
Yeah.
I think it makes for a better story than just leaving it told that way. Then you kind of add this extra layer, and it gives a little bit more meaning to the visuals and things like that. So
heck yeah.
But it sounds to me like they were kind of gagged to not say anything about it, so that the film would do well, which I think it pretty much did.
Oh yeah, I think them doing it that way, it's artistry. I mean, it's you're putting out art and you're creating something the way you want it to. Whether well, back then you didn't have the film industry wasn't under
right. You just had this
certain control of what you have to film and stuff like that.
You would have also had people like Fritz Lang, if you've seen Metropolis, or
hello, Amy. Callahan is in the house. Night Freight Talk Show just popped in.
All right,
Jimmy D, what is going on?
So you had other artists doing, real interesting kind of films. It was just a brand new art form, and it was just really catching on. I think I've made it pretty obvious on the show that I love silent film. I'm a big proponent of silent film.
Yeah.
Preservation.
Yes.
And even though this may not be like a favorite movie of mine, I like it a lot, and there's a lot of interesting things to watch in it. Yeah. I think I'm just more of a comedy silent film fanatic. But anytime I hear that some silent film's being restored or something, you always got my attention. Because it's really cool. They're little treasures.
Yeah. No. You know what? I think the bulk of your silent films were comedies, right? I mean, for the most
part. They made
a
little bit of everything, but that just seems to be... I don't... You know,
or at least
I feel
the ones that survived seems to be the comedies.
I feel like comedy lends itself better to the silent pantomime kind of formula.
Yeah. Amy watched it last night too. She says, "Sick film, great film."
Yes,
I appreciate that. Yeah, no,
I mean,
you can. Fantastic.
I mean, they've made you got like Birth of a Nation or whatever. It's this big long movie. I mean, I can't watch the damn thing.
No, I know.
I mean, it's hard to.
It's history. It's part of the cinematic.
Oh, it's not even so much the history or the. I mean, there's other films that are big, long, silent films.
Right.
There's a Napoleon that's like 4 hours long, silent film. It's just, it's hard for me to watch those films and stay engaged for that long.
Yeah.
But, I can watch an hour and a half long Chaplin film or Buster Keaton film or something like that.
Well, yeah. Me and you are
the comedy,
big fans of the comedy.
I'm way much more of a fanatic about silent comedy.
Yeah.
Almost to the point where, I think it's almost better than most of the stuff that came after it.
No, I know. Hey, I know how big of a fan you are. That's for sure.
So a film like this, I like. It's not something. This is probably like my third time watching it.
Yeah.
It'll be a long time before I probably revisit it again.
Yeah, RTN Productions. I knew that RTN. I knew that. Ted, I share your appreciation for silent comedies. Keaton,
Thank you.
Chaplin, Lauren Hardy. I've
forget Harold Lloyd, baby.
Or Harold Lloyd. Yeah, you can't forget them. But I've been watching Lauren Hardy every day this week. I mean, me and Ted, we love that genre. We love all those people, the classic. And then you get into the talkies with Marx Brothers and even Three Stooges, even though they're, after
that's highbrow entertainment.
Yeah, after appreciating all these Buster Keatons, and all these other people.
Stooges are sublime.
Oh, they're fantastic. But D.W. Griffith,
that's a director for Birth of a Nation.
Yep.
And it's still an important film, and just for what it is. I just use it as an example because it's a big, long movie.
And I wish this film would have gotten. This is one film I'm like, it'd be kind of cool to get a remake of this. I don't think there's been one.
Who knows?
I mean, there's a lot of other pictures. I mean, the influence from this film into other, even Citizen Kane has. There are scenes that are almost exact to the cinematography
the
or the film.
Certainly could be
in this film.
I don't think you get that visual.
Even Dracula and Nosferatu kind of with the.
They remade Nosferatu, arguably a better version.
Well, one of the. Well, yeah,
arguably, I like it better.
Well, there's one scene in this that I gotta say has got to be in. At least me, it's up there as one of the coolest horror scenes ever. I mean, up there right with Nosferatu coming to the bed, the original Nosferatu, coming to the bed and getting ready to bite the, is when Caesar, and we're jumping all around here too, kind of in non-linear form here.
There we go.
Are, talking about.
Presuming you watched it already.
Yeah, we're talking about this film as they made the film, non-linear. We're jumping all around. But the scene that is just tops for me, man. Tops, baby. Tops.
It's tops, Jimmy.
Let's get beatnik on them, man. Yeah, boy. What's going on?
Where's my beret?
I think tops is going to be the scene where we get Jane, and she's laying in the bed. And she's just lying there.
And what's that word?
I'm stopping.
What is Caesar again?
Caesar is let's get to that first. The whole movie is, I know we're jumping.
I just want to hear him say the word.
You did it to me. See, now I can't say it. Somnambulist.
Sleepy guy.
Somnambulist. God damn you. I was, all day long, I'm getting that word down. Somnambulist.
No wonder nobody talks about this movie.
Somnambulist, and Ted gets me. God damn you. Son of a bitch. I'm stuttering.
I'm not saying it.
Somnambulist. Okay, so that out of the way, the whole movie surrounds around.
You got a tissue?
I know, right? Here's a booger rag.
No. Yeah.
The whole story surrounds a Hey, some
show comes to a standstill.
Some ballad. The Sleepwalker, and
you're like Ken in Fish Called Wanda.
Somnambulist.
It's Ken.
And that term, a lot of people probably don't even know what that term means. But in this movie, the whole movie surrounds
it's a guy who's never woken up.
A guy it's a guy who's.
Didn't he say he slept for 23 years?
Well, that's what he says, and for this movie's sake, that's what it is.
How
but
nice.
He's not a coma victim. I mean, he's sorry guys. One Sean Bond, what is going on, my friend? But he's basically it's a sleepwalker. Yeah, that's basically a sleepwalker. Somebody who acts out during sleep.
Well, that's what they call sleepwalking, somnambulism.
Yeah, in a violent way or a simple way, whatever. But in this film, it's a violent way. But Dr. Caligari kind of he controls him. So he's able to wake him up and have him do kind of
some sort of
bidding.
Hypnosis, yes.
But that's where the totalitarianism comes and him being a president. There's a lot of...
the whole thing like where you're under a totalitarian ruler's control and to kill upon their command.
And bring the people in and bring them in.
You can look at it that deeply, or you can just watch it as a movie.
Propaganda. That's a whole, him bringing them in to get your future read and show people that it's a bright future. Although Alan, he was told a different story, which was an awesome scene.
Yeah, at the sideshow when they have.
You start wherever you want to
start. Wherever I start. Well, we mentioned the bridging, the bookend scene there.
The bookend.
And then, there's this sleepy little
That's how I love
town,
my love making. Like bookends.
Which I don't remember the name of the town. And there's going to be a little fair.
There's no need for a town name because...
Doesn't matter. Again, it has a name, but I don't remember.
Yes, and that's the whole point of German Expressionism is that you're taken out of the real world and put into this whacked out, weird, schizophrenic world. Mm-hmm. Okay? And go ahead.
And this Dr. Caligari has his somnambulist, Cesar.
What was that?
Cesar.
No, the what?
Somnambulist.
Somnambulist?
It's really not hard.
Okay.
Especially after hearing you.
Spoons! Okay, go ahead.
And,
Freddie Miranda, what's going on?
How this guy has slept for 23 years.
When I see somebody, I'm going to holler their name.
Okay, and completely throw me off.
Yeah.
Every time. And he can, hypnotize him. He can control his actions. And Cesar is also able to tell the future.
Channel Downstar. Roger, what's going on? In a way like an original zombie, doing the bidding of a master. Yeah, like in
White Zombie.
Mantan Moorland.
King of the Zombies.
King of the Zombies, a favorite of mine, which is a lower B
show we did. We did a double feature.
Lower B level movie, but fantastic film you should see.
You should try. I don't know if it's on YouTube or not, but try to find some of Mantan Moorland's stand-up comedy.
Dirty jokes.
It's really filthy, like Red Fox, Richard Pryor, dirty.
Yeah,
but
I bet RTN.
He's funny.
Bet RTN's seen him. Artemis, what's going on? Who's Dino? I'm Dino. That's Ted.
I'm Cesar.
If you're just coming in, he's Cesar, and I'm Caligari, and he's going to do my bidding.
I am.
But anyways,
after. For instance, what are their names again? Richard and Alan? Fritz and Alan?
No, it's Alan and Francis.
What kind of German name is Francis? It should be Fritz.
Francis is the guy at the beginning telling the story to the guy
in German it's Fritz.
So, but yeah, Francis and Alan are sitting there, and they want their fortune told.
So Alan says, "How long will I live?"
Like an idiot says,
"How long will I live?"
I really want to know the date.
Till the morning.
Till the morning.
You're going to keep it on till the break of dawn, and that's it.
Yeah.
Then to prove the point, we see later on that it's Dr.
Brian
Caligari
Kirkham. What is going on?
Who can control Cesar and sends him to Alan's house to kill him. And there's not really any rhyme or reason to why he's doing these murders. There's not. No one has slighted him. What's up?
Liam Workman. Dad!
Hey, buddy!
What's going on, bud?
My boy's in the chat.
Teddy's
Everybody be nice to him.
But go on.
So there's not really any rhyme or reason to why Dr. Caligari's having Cesar go after these people. He's just doing it because he can do it.
Right. And again, I think that goes to the propaganda of the political views they're trying to get across in the film. And it's many, and it's widespread, and it's almost in every scene. So that's what you're going to get from this film. But in the middle of that, there's just all kinds of goodies that are just driven by horror. Except towards that very end of this movie, it kind of turns into kind of a detective kind of film, a mystery film, where they're looking into what's going on here and stuff like that. But go ahead,
right? Because you have this murder, and then you have I think and at the beginning of the film he mentioned the clerk, sort of the Dr. Seuss type clerk. Dr. Caligari is trying to get his permit for his show, and the clerk is rude to him. Well, that guy ends up getting offed as well.
And this goes to show
that one, okay, I can understand, but not Alan.
Well, that goes to show you very quickly how.
But I guess Alan was to prove that Caesar could do what he says he could do.
Well, right, and it goes to show how quickly Caligari is put off. 3 minutes in, and he goes, "Town clerk, you're getting it. You're off." And he's gonna die. But Brian Kirkham says, Dino and Ted talking about classic movies. Can the night get any better? Why, yes, it can. The Late Late Horror Show in 2. There you go. Later tonight we got more horror. I do hope that everybody understands that there's so much content when it comes to old time radio, and I'll get to the chat here real quick too, and we'll continue. But there's so much content when it comes to what to get up. I know everybody's favorites are the horror mystery, and then the next thing is the detective, and then kind of comedy comes after that. Even though I love Jack Benny, he's tops, man, he's top. But I have to mix it up. It's just you can't do horror every night. I try my best to do that and get the detectives up there, but we gotta get the comedy up there and the western and please everybody. So please, if it's a night,
it's kind of neat to have a day where.
Well, and I'm just trying to tell them to if it's something you don't like that day, please understand that I've got 6 months of 12-hour streams, okay?
And there's tons of movie commentaries that we did together.
Yeah, please
go
back.
So if you like our banter,
because
we used to do the full movie commentary, and obviously you can't see the movie when we're doing it. We're watching it, but you can't see it when we're doing it.
Some you can.
But
please
go back and watch some of those because there's some great stuff in there.
Yeah, and if you feel like horror, go back to some of the past horror streams because they are all there. There's a lot of people who jump over because I think they're not sure. I know they like the live thing, but all the streams, and you can replay the chat too, which is fun too, up on the side. I always have that available because again, I don't care if other people get channels and they pop up too that are doing what I'm doing because that's just going to happen. But just know that if it's not a night that's something you're interested in, chances are I've got everything else that you like in the catalog in the library.
You got nothing to do. Go back to our Freaks 1932 whatever.
Yeah, go watch our
Freaks show. You like this kind of stuff? Go watch that one.
Yeah, 2 hours of us just talking about Freaks.
We did Island of Lost Souls. We've done a lot of the oldies.
But again, throwing out there, family man, love you guys. Everybody, please throw some love out there to Jeremy M. Okay, I know he's going through some stuff. I haven't heard back from him. He's just family, just like all of us, okay? And you guys know who I'm talking about in the chat. I know that there's some serious issues, okay? And, man, the dude supported me in a way that I couldn't believe. You guys know. You've seen it. And, I just feel so bad, and there's not much I can do because I'm not family and I'm not way out there. But I'm hoping everybody just send prayers to Jeremy M.
Some positive energy. Y'all did it for me when I was sick.
Yeah, positive energy to Jeremy to get better, man, and to fingers crossed and send love. That's all I got to say. And let's get back to the entertainment.
1 minute out of the day. It's all you need to do. Just focus on one person. 1 minute a day. It helped me, I'm telling you.
Oh, yeah.
I felt better. Remember, I loved everybody when I got out of the hospital.
Hell yeah.
Now I'm back to hating everybody.
There you go. So, okay.
But it lasted a while.
So back to talking about the film. I don't know if you wanted to...
Well, we mentioned that the two people have been murdered.
Yeah.
And we know it's Dr. Caligari sending Caesar to do it. And
Liam's like, what are you talking about?
We're talking about the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, buddy. You didn't watch it with me.
Yeah, Overkill 161. What's going on, my friend?
And then the police end up catching a an attempted killer
Yeah.
who's just trying to take advantage of the situation to throw
really
suspicion
weird.
off him.
Yeah.
So he's taken into custody, and then it starts to turn into a little detective story.
Yeah.
Would you say his name was Francis?
Francis.
I'm going to call him. I keep wanting to say Richard.
Well,
Francis.
let's really quick. Where they met Jane too was right after that kind of. You're gonna.
These two guys are sort of vying for her affection.
You're not going to live till dawn. You know what I mean? So they both
that really cut the competition in half.
They found out a murder was going on, and they went to talk to Jane. They met Jane. Francis walked up to her, but Alan liked it, and they both said, we both like this woman, Yeah. And then what happens?
Whichever one she picks, we'll be friends. Yeah, right.
And whichever
you're going to duel at dawn.
Well, and what happens, and this is a great scene, and I think, a great use of shadows where the killer, you just get the shadow of a killer over Alan in bed, very cool, very awesome. Stabbing Alan.
Stabbing Alan. So it's a good name for a band.
So Alan ends up dead by the shadow, who you kind of think, maybe this is, Francis kind of getting rid of the competition, but it's the somnambulist
with somnambulism.
Hey, I'm gonna love it, man. But every time, so you get that, I'm picking out great scenes in the movie that are just fantastic. That's one of them, and for that kind of visuals with killing like that in the shadows, and again,
we always love killing in the shadows.
It's killing in the shadow. So that was fantastic. So Alan's out of the way, and we got Francis and Jane, and there. Yeah.
So then it starts to turn, like you had mentioned before, into sort of a little detective story.
Yeah.
Because they don't really think it's this guy, because then someone comes after Jane.
The Death Twitch. Hello, I'm late. I'm sure. Yeah, a little late, but that's fine.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Always welcome.
Nice to have you, Death Twitch.
In that ass.
Eric. Yeah. What? Okay.
Back in that ass.
So what you were saying?
What was I saying?
Just say sleepwalker. Yes.
Sleepwalker.
Let's say sleepwalker.
I know, but somnambulist is so much fun.
We're having fun with it, but yeah. Anyways, go ahead.
All right. Now, at what point is he attempt to? This is. They're already investigating.
We could quickly
the somnambulist. I mean, because I don't know if it's Francis sort of suspects because of well, help me out here because I'm drawing a blank.
Okay, so
I swear I watched it.
And we're not going to draw this out because, again, we got about maybe 20 more minutes and then I'm off. We'll figure it out. But the movie pretty much takes a turn where they catch that one guy. They think he's doing the killing and stuff like that. But then another murder happens, and
now who's killed that time?
They think it's. I think it was just a.
Is that when the clerk is killed? Or was the clerk first? I can't remember.
Nevertheless.
But I think something happens and they realize it can't be that guy because he's in custody.
Right.
And I know at some point they do start looking at this somnambulist guy.
Yeah.
I don't know why they think he's kind of suspicious.
Francis kind of goes over and this is a cool scene. Well, let's jump to that scene.
Well, he's kind of staking out the Caligari's cabin or house, whatever.
Yeah, the suspicion's going back on. And again, it looks like this little trailer, but it's got angles on it that are just really interesting and cool.
The whole city is just,
the whole city's just.
It's
cool
almost
as hell.
Lovecrafting. If you've read some of
Lovecraft
stuff. He'll describe all this bizarre architecture, but words can't really describe it.
Max.
Architecture words can't describe.
Yeah, most people kind of seen this. Yeah, the clerk was first, Ted. Yeah,
that's what I thought. What I thought.
Alan was
then
the
Alan.
No, yeah, it was the clerk, then Alan,
and then I think was it at the fair when did he eye up Jane? Because at one point, why does he come after Jane? Someone remind me.
That's another cool scene. Jane comes into.
Is it the doctor that's got
Dr.
designs
Caligari
on her, or is it?
I think it just happened after Alan was dead, and because she knew that the sleepwalker told him he was going to be dead by dawn, and he was.
Okay.
So Jane goes to see Dr. Caligari and the sleepwalker, and when she does, another very cool scene. very iconic in horror history, where she looks at them and he opens his eyes to Sleepwalker, and they both look at her in this very disturbing and scary way, you know. So, and then it just goes, and that's another thing. The way they use the filters to I forget what they called it, but the filters to center in on the subject matters to point out what's going on in the scene. Yeah, I
don't know if they actually closed the camera lens when they did that.
Vignetting. That's what it's called. Vignetting. Shadowing of.
Is that a filter, or is that something they do with the lens?
It's the shadowing of the lens itself through a box. You know, filtering out the sides and focusing in. So it's vignetting, and that's done a lot through this film. It's very great when they do it in specific spots. Most of the film's shot just straight on, no movement of camera of any kind, just still video. And,
quite the opposite of the comedies that I am such a fan of.
Prophet Wing, thank you very much. Come to think of it, the geography is rather non-Euclidean.
Yes, that's how Lovecraft would describe it.
Thank you very much.
I think those are his exact words, like in At the Mountains of Madness and the music of Eric Zahn and stuff like that. Non-Euclidean geometry.
Appreciate the super chat. Sailor Sam is here. What's going on, Sailor? What is going on, my friend? But yeah, that's
so. Even at the moment when Caesar is supposed to be killing Jane,
he's just
Caesar, and won't kill her. Matter of fact, it takes her.
Well, let's jump then to the next, which is the scene I was going to get to.
And while that's going on, Francis was staking out Caligari's place and sees a body laying in Caesar's coffin just like him.
Yes, that looks
like
Caesar.
What we come to realize is that's a dummy, a decoy.
It's a dummy decoy.
While Caesar's out doing what he's going to be doing with Jane.
And this is reminiscent of Dracula, Nosferatu, kind of. It's a still-on, straightforward scene and beautifully shot, of Jane in this big, long bed, silk drapes and everything, with her laying there. And Caesar just walks through. I like how he just pulls out the frame of the window, just pulls it out with his hand and starts walking very slowly. And this is, there's nothing by saying how scary silent films can be in settings like this, just visually. And then you add in them attempting to make it look scary. I mean, you've got, Caesar with his skin-tight black, whatever he's wearing, his clothes, the makeup, and just approaching her with the knife slowly. One of the best scenes in horror history, I think. Very iconic scene. I went on to spawn the Nosferatu, Dracula. Tons of inspiration from this, but this scene in particular. And he comes up to her, he's about to stab her, he doesn't, but he drops it. She screams. He grabs her. He takes her with her, and this is where the schizophrenic panic comes in of the Sleepwalker and the storytelling in general, running with her down this path. Up and over the hills, and then you jump back to Francis, and they find out it's the dummy. The people come in there, and so they're after Caesar. It's just all this going on at one time, where he's got Jane, and it comes to the point where he drops Jane, and takes off, and he falls off a cliff. And there's bye Caesar.
Bye.
So man, I hope we can get all this in time.
Well,
we will.
Then they chase Caligari.
Yeah.
And they end up chasing him to
grab him, straitjacket him.
Well, they chase him to the asylum.
To the asylum. Let's get to the asylum.
Where they are ultimately going to find out that he is the director.
John Mickey, what's going on in the chat?
Where he is the director.
Sorry, I'm going off
of that asylum.
Yeah.
They end up once they, through a course of going through the papers and things like that, realize that he's not actually Caligari. He's modeling himself after someone named Caligari who existed sometime in the 18th century.
Right.
That, did this.
Be sure to hit the thumbs up on the video, you guys.
Thank you. Smash that like
already
button.
Got a thumbs down, but that's all right.
What?
Go ahead. But the asylum is cool.
Yes.
Yeah, nothing better than the asylum.
That, he's just trying to, he just waited for a somnambulist to be brought in so that he could live out this little fantasy of of trying to control a somnambulist to see if he actually could get him to do something that when awake he would never do.
Right.
And that was the whole point.
And kind of the first film to kind of get all these plot twists in too.
There's a lot.
There's a lot of plot twists.
A lot of ins, a lot of outs.
Oh boy, Jesus, gravity.
And what, me? What?
It's you this time, not me.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes
me.
I'm saying, but there you go.
It's me.
But I love that. Yeah, once they do that, they find out that he's the story. Well, they're doing the detective work. They're grabbing all the books. Secret cabinet comes out. The books that he's been doing all this.
Right.
They see it and they go. You just said. Right. I think you just said this.
And
why am I saying?
They eventually, they apprehend the director. They have, he starts going shit show.
Scott, 1994. The movie is considered the magnum opus of German expressionism. Of course it is.
There's not many others.
No, yeah.
I mean, but like all the great
expressionism in general.
Most of the really cool silent films you can think of that aren't comedies. And like the top 3 I can think off my head besides this one is Nosferatu and Metropolis,
right?
And then there's a couple others like Faust and what's it called? It's a German one, but it's a big long Niebling or blah, blah, blah.
I think this spawned over into,
but they're all German.
Tim Burton kind of has a lot of influence from these films too. But anyway,
it's
not expressionism, but it's kind of in the same vein.
I never can exactly tell what the hell Tim Burton watched and what he didn't. I mean, when he directed Batman,
that's what makes him unique.
He said he'd never read a comic book, But I know he loved the Universal movies, and I think a lot of that expressionism is in those movies.
Yeah.
So that maybe
I think he's full of shit. That's what I think.
But
David Lynch, they try to screw you.
I read this article today.
Try to screw
that David Lynch don't even know what the hell his movies are about. There you go.
Well,
don't even bother watching history. He doesn't even know what they're about.
You know what? And at the end of this movie, that's what happens too. They kind of let you kind of figure out in your own mind, and we'll get to that.
Or you can take it for face value because we're pretty much there.
Yeah.
The director is apprehended, straitjacketed, going nuts, kicking, screaming. He's in the asylum now. He's an inmate in the asylum as well.
And that's where the story kind of ends.
The other end of the bookend is now. If you want to take it away.
With Francis sitting there, it goes right back to the beginning where Francis is telling the story.
Right.
And, it kind of ends there. You can say end. And Francis ends up... And then there's a big shot of the asylum.
We pull back a little and we realize that Francis is...
Well... There's a little bit more to it. They shoot right to the asylum where everybody's walking about.
The characters that we've just encountered.
Even Caesar, who is now awake and kind of don't know what's going on, confused at his character.
These are all patients in a mental hospital.
And Jane is sitting there, and Francis, he walks in.
They're all there.
And he's looking at everybody, and you're kind of going, what the hell is going on?
And the character who was Dr. Caligari is the director.
Yes, and he comes walking down the steps, normal. Totally normal. No makeup, just like a normal guy walking down the steps.
Normal doctor.
That's where you go, wait a second. Okay, it's kind of unfolding to where, and it does, Francis kind of attacks
the
Caligari.
Ramblings of a madman the whole time.
And you go, so, it's the ramblings of a madman. Right. Francis, maybe... Could be.
I think so.
Or it could be Dr. Caligari, kind of.
Yeah, but I like it that way.
Yeah, I think it's the ramblings of a madman.
And it also lends itself to his viewed perception of reality. Yeah. Why
Dave Plouffe,
everything looks the way it looks, because in his mind it looks that way.
Hey, it's Dave Plouffe.
So, hey, it's Dave Plouffe. It's real. Hey.
And I brought up Son of Frankenstein when we talk expressionism. I mean, the gothic
Son of
scenes.
Frankenstein's here to stay.
He's here to stay.
Hey.
But yeah, so that's what you get with this. But you get.
And he ends up, getting out of hand. and getting straitjacketed just like Caligari did at the end of that story, and put in that same cell, and the doctor's like, I think I know how to cure him now, And,
so it's kind of a starting all back over kind of thing, If Caligari really was into all of that and looking for his victim, it could be starting right back over again. But in the middle of all of that, they got all these views, the director, the writer, all the people involved, the storyline, the era was made, and all that propaganda, the political stuff was in there, and then it ends with this plot twist to where. And
what's nice is it could be in there, but it's not hitting you over the head.
No,
like say our
not at all.
chatter who said he wrote one of the papers on it. You can watch it and watch it just the way I did it. Just those things didn't cross my mind one time when I was watching this movie last night. When I started reading a little bit about it on my break at work today,
you're like,
I'm like, oh. And then I saw that there was a lot more, and I just had to say, okay, we ain't gonna have time to talk about all this.
Oh, that's why there's so much dissecting of this movie.
And that's a really good kind of movie.
Yeah.
You don't want it to smack you upside the head.
You are talking about the nonsensical ravings of a lunatic mind.
Yes.
I'm
kind of around that all the time.
Ted lives. Anyways, he lives.
That's my business.
Brian Kirkham, expressionism gives me the ability to be able to mess through screen door and not touch a wire. Well, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. My favorite Tim Burton film is Mars Attacks, followed by Ed Wood, says RTN. Tom mentioned something about the Glenn and Glenda and Ed Wood getting some inspiration from this. I can't remember the expressionism part of it or what was going on.
I have no idea if Ed Wood ever watched this film.
Unless Tom was messing with me, because Tom is a jokester and I love it. I love it.
No way to know for sure.
So I'm not sure, but he did mention that. Channel Downstar says, speaking of Caligari, does anyone remember that really bizarre film, Dr. Caligari from the 80s? Really weird that was.
I know. We'll have to check it out because we were just talking that.
Yeah,
I wonder if this film's been remade or if it's.
I'm going to have to look that up and see. But Ted hates Young Frankenstein. Yeah, don't even.
Well,
son of a bitch.
Let me go a little bit further. I just really don't like Mel Brooks movies. It's just not my kind.
Sacrilege, man.
It's not sacrilege.
The Caligari movie is told through France's warped mind.
That's how I like to view it.
Yeah, RTN. There you go.
By the end of the film, you get, and what I like is you don't really suspect that until the end.
Yeah, Edward Stewart. She tells Francis she won't marry him.
Francis.
I've seen a channel. Oh, so you know what? It's out there. So definitely going to have to. Dino, that's my elegant way of saying it gives me diarrhea. Expressionism. I get it. Okay, Tomo, all the crooked background curtains, windows, furnitures, etc. Oh, that's right, Tom. Okay, mm-hmm. Tomo, yes. I get exactly what he's saying. So the expressionism comes from all those angled, like pictures, windows,
right.
Furniture, stuff like that. So it's kind of a...
And that's what expressionism kind of is. Like, for instance, I used to
put you in like kind of a schizophrenic mindset.
Or it's just
throws you off a bit.
The way that...
Otherworldly.
The way that it's dressed, the way that the set is, sort of expresses the feeling and emotions, whatever that's in the scene.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with paintings. I mean,
Did I miss anything?
Other films too.
Here? Let's see.
And if you're interested in the film on Blu-ray, you can get a nice remastered version from Kino.
Yeah.
The only thing that I'm not as crazy about, because I watched this one here we watched the same one on YouTube.
Yeah.
It is the hour and 11-minute one.
Yes.
And you do have to check because some versions are cut, and you may be missing some scenes. Sometimes the running time is different just because of the speed of the film. So you want to try to watch one that's around. When you look online, it says it's 120.
Yeah.
And I didn't see any that was 120, but if the film is sped up a little bit, that can also account for why you're losing a few minutes. But the one that's available in the
always
States
on
film, Blu-ray, I really like the intertitles in the film, the way that the text, that tell you what characters are saying or what's going on.
Oh yeah,
it was probably the most unique that I've seen in any film.
Yeah,
and the one that's on Blu-ray here in this country, they're in German, and then you get printed white subtitles at the bottom. I kind of liked that these were in English.
Oh yeah.
But they're not the original ones. German is the original one. So
no, of course.
But just, I mean, if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. They just got a
made
real
it closest
cool look.
to. Yeah. I definitely loved it. Infinity Stone, $9.99 super chat. Thank you, my friend.
$9.99 plus
nice
tax.
to see you here too. Appreciate it, my friend. Very, very much. It all goes to help me keep riding this train and helping
High
people.
on cocaine.
As much as I can here. Jill is here. Hi, everyone. What's going on?
What's happening, girl?
There was something in here. If you want to see a surrealistic American film, check out 1941's Olsen and Johnson's film, Hell's a Poppin'. Oh, yeah!
I've seen Hell's a Poppin'. I don't know if you have.
I've seen,
Okay. Because actually, I just watched it again not too long ago.
Hell's a Poppin'.
Hey, any movie that's got Shemp Howard in it is great by
And let me just say, Edward Stewart, before we get into that.
One of Joe Dante's favorite movies.
Fritz Lang almost directed this, but wasn't available, but told them to be insane in directing. Awesome.
Be insane.
And let me just tell you how much I love Ed, that every night he changes his profile picture to whatever I'm streaming. It's kind of cool. Or what relevant to this kind of stuff. It's very cool, man. Kino did a fantastic job, and they do on all their silent classics like Hunchback and Phantom.
They did Nosferatu as well. I think the British one, which is a Region B, unfortunately, is a little bit better. That's the one I have.
Yeah.
But, hey, beggars can't be choosers.
No, it is what
it is. What it is. I mean, it's a 100-year-old movie, for Christ's sake. What are you going to get?
Love all the fellow folks in here, says Infinity Stone. Artemis says, if you build it, they will come. Super nice, Infinity Stone. Everybody's just love. Good old Shemp Howard was in a lot of films. Let me just throw out there, I watched
his own shorts before he joined the Stooges. Matter of fact, some of Shemp's
original Charlie Chan. He was in
some of Shemp's original shorts were redone as Stooge shorts later on when he
RTN would probably know which Charlie Chan he was in. I'm trying to remember.
And Shemp was sort of the Moe character, in his own shorts.
Dark Alibi, maybe.
Some of them are very good, by the way.
Oh yeah.
I have them at home.
Yeah, Shemp Howard was in a Charlie Chan. I can't remember which one.
And I got it
was a Sidney Toler one, and he was in a lineup up there, and he was playing like a snake charmer kind of guy. He painted it, but
I still say my favorite.
And he was an Abbott Costello who done it.
Right.
He was behind the soda fountain. He was also in, I think, who's in the Navy. He played he was in a couple at least of the Abbott and Costello movies, Shemp Howard, that I remember.
Had his own thing, really.
Yeah, he had his own thing.
And he's still in my favorite Three Stooges short, which is Goof on the Roof. It's not a Curly Stooge, it's a Shemp Stooge.
Shemp Stooge,
I challenge anybody to watch Goof on the Roof and not tell me it's one of the funniest top 5 Three Stooges.
Every time Shemp Howard does his classic... Yeah, no, classic, man.
Goof on the Roof. You got to find it somewhere. Oh, it is the best.
Yeah.
Them just trying to put a TV together.
Old time radio and old comedy is so radio.
That's my blood.
Radio, old time radio, to sleep, and old time comedies like that. Three Stooges, Marx Brothers, Abbott and Costello. It's all movies I can watch every single night to put me to sleep.
That's a huge chunk of my movie collection, because I'm still a physical media guy, and it's just so awesome to be able to just pop one in, and my kids are loving it too, and especially my middle boy who joined us here in the chat today. He loves Laurel Hardy. He's the only 8-year-old kid who knows who Buster Keaton and Harold Lloyd is.
Yeah.
So.
Brian Kirkham says, go back and watch the Stooge short, Disorder in the Court, and the movie Reader, Reefer Madness. It's the same judge. Apparently the judge was in a lot of... Let me tell you something.
I think they always had the same judge.
Oh, the same judge in a lot of the movies back in the 30s, 40s. You always had the same cops.
Yep.
You had the same detectives, kind of. Like even in the Charlie Chan's, like the like Sergeant or something like that. I mean, they were always the same actors.
Or even though you don't see them in a ton of movies.
But that's because they were under contract, too, from the company.
Edgar Kennedy. You always picture him as a cop. But he didn't play a cop in a ton of movies. Some Laurel and Hardy, some Little Rascals. I think he did 4 Little Rascals. But you think like he's in every single one.
Right, yeah. Did Shemp do any radio? Not that I know of. I don't think I've...
they were vaudeville before, and
Yeah.
I think they got into pictures after that. The original Stooges with Ted Healy. They were kind of the side act.
I have a Lost Laurel and Hardy that I should put up. I mean, they did one old time radio show. But other than that, no Three Stooges, no Marx. Well, Groucho did his thing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
It's just,
of course,
it's
Abbott and
visual.
Costello. I mean, they had their own series.
Some comedians just lent themselves more to a visual medium. The Stooges. I would say someone like Buster Keaton. And you talk about camera movements. How we talk about how this movie, the camera never moved.
Yeah.
The camera never stops in a Buster Keaton movie.
Oh, no.
Never stops.
Yeah, well, the different, and things evolved quickly, very quickly. At the onset of film in Hollywood, I mean, it was just like a boom, and things changed very quickly. Like Ed Stewart was talking about, he's been catching up on all our Universal movies and our older movies, and he just watched The Bat. Or was it Bat? The one with inspired the Batman character.
I forgot. I know what you're talking about. We did it.
But that movie had some classic, never before used cinematography, like where the camera came. It pretty much fell from above down to whatever character it was in that movie that shot. I have to watch it again.
Sort of like that point of view, sort of.
Yeah.
Over that model city.
Oh, and where he creeps up the ladder into the hole in the wall was just... That movie, if nobody's seen that, you got to check it out, man.
That was good.
I'd put the link in there if
that
Amy
was a surprise one
there,
for me, because I had never seen that.
Yeah, fantastic film, man. Let's see. Love Lauren Hardy as a child, Justin says.
You should love them as an adult as well.
Shemp was the original Stooge, and he left to do other films. They got Curly, and when Curly died, Shemp reprised his role, of course.
Yep. Curly actually had a stroke, and Shemp came on. And actually, I think there's at least one Stooge short where Curly's in it.
It's a hair. Shemp one. He's on the train.
But he's wearing a disguise, but Curly's in it.
Yeah.
But then, Curly did pass away not too long after that.
Yeah.
And Shemp was actually plagued with phobias, anxiety. You can relate, I suppose.
Yeah,
but no,
they played it up in the
but
in
eventually
too.
he couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah,
and then they got Joe Besser,
and Mo was
even though I have them all, I have the Joe Besser ones too.
Oh God. Please
ow, that hurts!
Please, no! I don't want to hear it. I think that's where we're going to end this show, man.
God. And I have all 133 beautiful Stooge shorts.
Oh, yeah.
I wish they'd put those on Blu-ray. What are they waiting on? Christmas.
Before you go, make sure you hit that thumbs up button.
Smash the like button.
I appreciate everybody who showed some support in the chat tonight with Super Chats and Vicky becoming...
Thanks for being nice to my
Level
boy.
3. And what are we doing next week? So you guys know in advance. Next week are going.
This is going to be a little bit of a tricky movie to find.
Roddy McDowall.
It's a Roddy McDowall 1967. It's just called It with an exclamation point.
It.
Or I think in some areas it was called the Golem. And this is about This is going to be a take on the Jewish legend of the Golem.
Yeah.
Which was also another silent movie.
Yeah.
But it's not a very often seen movie. This is a movie. Dino hasn't seen it. I've watched it maybe twice,
and I love Roddy McDowall.
When we first started doing this ages ago, 2 movies got recommended to us right off the bat. One of them was this one, and another one was Island of Terror with Peter Cushing, directed by Terrence Fisher, but it's not a Hammer movie.
Right.
And both of them were excellent recommendations, whoever made them to me. And I've seen it a couple times, and I sent him a trailer.
You're welcome, Amy. You're
without
welcome, Prophecy.
Actually saying anything. I just sent him the trailer.
Yeah.
And he just texted me back. He's like, this looks good, and I want to watch it.
Yeah. So we're going to do It with Roddy McDowall. What year is it?
I believe it's 1967. I don't recall a director or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's not even necessarily a particularly well-regarded film, but we're just Roddy McDowall fans, and it's kind of a cool flick. It's got its own little thing going, and like I said, it's a little bit harder to find, so you might have to dig a little.
Yeah.
So but it's out there. I found it. You can find it.
Well, there you go, you guys. So everybody's saying love and peace and chicken grease and all that
Did
good
somebody
stuff.
actually say that? That's
peace,
my
love,
saying.
may the road rise. Love, peace, guys.
Love, peace, and chicken grease.
I love that you guys are all. There's so much love in the chat. I love it. But I will see you guys in 45 minutes for a spooky night of horror. You're going to get some sealed book. You can't go wrong with that. One of the most highly reclaimed of the Old Time Radio horror shows. So I'll be there in about 45 minutes for that. Hopefully I'll see you guys there. Joe Besser, great as Stinky on Abbott and Costello show.
That's different.
That's different.
But as a stooge,
I do like him in that, but not as a stooge. But yeah, no,
it was a low point.
He was great, and that was the Colgate Comedy Hour with Abbott and Costello.
Yeah.
that it was.
Then we got Joe Dorito.
Yeah.
Okay.
Night, Amy. Hopefully, I'll see most of you guys in the Old Time Radio chat. And...
Not so hard.
Oh, please, no. So, good night, everybody, and